I'm going to create a couple of videos showing you the steps to make a diptych or triptych in Photoshop. The first step is to work up your image so that it looks the way that you want it to look. I have 3 images that I want to put together. These are all from my Ouroboros series, and I have all 3 open. Here's one, the second one's here, third one's here. I want them to put them on a single page so that they work as a triptych. If I go back to my first one, you can see I've used all of the steps to create the image and worked with my color curve, my luminosity curve, and everything else we've gone through to make it look the way that I want. At this point in time, I have these multiple layers set up on my image, and I need to flatten them to be a singular image. The reason for this is if I try to drag an image over right now to create a diptych or triptych, I'm only going to pull one piece. Instead, I need to flatten this. When I flatten, I can go to Layer and down to Flatten. When I click Flatten, you'll notice that on the right-hand side, all of the layers are going to disappear into the background. Now I just have a singular image. All of the changes that I've made are applied, and I can't go back to them now unless I go back in my history. This is what I want to work with when I'm going to create a diptych or triptych. The next thing I need to do is crop the image to the size that I want it to be. When you're creating images in camera, you probably don't need to crop unless you want to take something out of your image. This is the crop tool on the left-hand side. There are a couple ways to crop. First off, if you go up here, you can change the mode of your crop, and I generally tell people to use the original ratio. The original ratio will keep your sides in ratio to each other so that they represent the original ratio that you created your image with. There we are. I pulled these in just a little because I want to get rid of that white that was on the edges. And double click this. Once I double click that, you can see that I have a singular image now. That'll work. Got a little bit of white over on the side still that I didn't quite crop out. So I'm going to just nudge this in a hair. Sometimes if it's hard to see where you're cropping, you can blow it up a little bit. And that will allow you to pull that in. Well, I'm not going to make it perfect for this one, but we'll make it work. Zoom back out by Command minus. Okay. Now I need to take these steps on each of the next images as well. So I can click to each one, Layer, Flatten, Layer, Flatten. And I'm going to crop these two to match as well. Using my crop tool. That one's cropped. There we go. So now I have 3 images that are all cropped and ready to go. The next thing I need to do is make sure that they are all exactly the same size. Now I'm going to navigate out of my crop tool. Sometimes if you stay in the crop tool, it'll do strange things. But these are big images at this point in time, and I don't need my images to be large to create a diptych or triptych. To check the image size, I'm going to go up to Image, scroll down to Image Size. And if I want to print this, I want to make sure that I keep my resolution at 300 pixels per inch. I'm going to change this measurement now to inches so I can see the sizes that they are. And this is set up so that I can print basically a 20 by 24 inch print. Now, in terms of making a diptych or a triptych, I don't want my image to be that big because it would then end up being 24 inches tall by 20, 40, 60 inches wide at minimum. And so I want to make this a little bit smaller. To make this reasonable in terms of print, I'm going to start off by maybe changing, I'm choosing this at random right now, I'm going to make my height 10 inches instead. So I'm going to have a little bit bigger than an 8 by 10 inch image. but I'm going to keep my resolution at 300. Hit OK. I need to do this to each of my other images to make sure they're exactly the same size. Image, image size, 10 inches. Okay. Now I have 3 images that are all exactly the same size that I'll be able to work with.